Before we start, my brother, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Don't sleep on it. If you're a man who loves history, old money, treasure hunting, and the stories that built our father's world, then you're in the right place. Go on, subscribe, sit back, and let's talk about something that's been hiding in drawers, old biscuit tins, wooden chests, and forgotten cupboards across many homes in Africa and around the world. Today we're going deep into the legend of the South Africa 5 shillings coin from 1954. And trust me, my guy, this one is not just another coin. This one is a whole story, a whole memory, a whole legacy. Now imagine this. The year is 1954. South Africa is not the same country we know today. Everything is stiff, serious, uniformed, formal, and carrying a heaviness that only old African men understand. No noise, no smartphones, no rush. Just real life, real sweat, real work. And in the middle of all that, the mint strikes a coin, but not just any coin. A big, heavy, silver-rich coin meant to show power, prestige, and tradition. The kind of coin that didn't cling-clang lightly in the pocket. No, this one was a solid metal beast. When a man carried it, you could hear it. You could feel it. It had presence. You hold it in your hand today, and you feel that weight. That cold metal. That thickness. That old-school strength. It's the kind of coin that tells you straight away, a man used to earn this. A man used to sweat for this. Nothing soft, nothing cheap, nothing fragile. Just real silver mixed with history. On one side, you see a young Queen Elizabeth II. Not the older, seasoned queen most people remember. No, this is the fresh, youthful queen, the one who had just stepped into power, still with that unmistakable authority, but carrying a kind of softness that only early portrait engravings captured. And this portrait wasn't rushed or sloppy. The engraving was detailed, elegant, and made to last. This was the British Empire saying, "We're here. We're ruling. We're shaping money that will outlive us." Powerful stuff. Flip it over, and you're met with the springbok. And let me tell you, it's not just a random antelope placed on a coin. No, my brother. The springbok is one of the purest symbols of South African strength and pride. Fast, alert, majestic. The kind of animal that moves with confidence even when predators are watching. And that's exactly why it was chosen. It reflected the spirit of the land. Powerful, natural, determined. The design shows it mid-stride, captured in motion, like it's leaping through time itself. It's the kind of artwork that, when you stare long enough, you feel like the animal is alive. But this coin wasn't just beautiful, it was valuable from day one. You see, back in the 1950s, coins were still made with serious metal. And this one was no joke. It carries a solid weight, close to 30 grams, and a good portion of that is real silver. Half of it, in fact. And silver was money then, just like it's money now. The kind of metal you don't play with. The kind of metal that holds value whether you bury it under a tree, lock it in a safe, or carry it in your pocket. Now, let me take you somewhere for a moment. Picture an old man from the 50s. A man with strong hands, probably wearing khaki trousers, maybe a wide-brim hat if the sun was barking that day. This man earns his money in shillings and pounds, and maybe, just maybe, one day he gets one of these 1,954 5 shillings coins. Maybe he bought food with it, maybe he saved it, or maybe he kept it for good luck. That one simple moment could be the reason that coin is now sitting in someone's drawer, someone's safe, or someone's antique box today. That's the thing about old coins. You're not just holding money. You're holding a man's journey, a man's hard days, a man's victories, a man's struggles, a piece of his world. And for men in your age bracket, men who know life, who've lived through changes, who respect heritage, this coin speaks directly to you. Think of how many hands this coin could have passed through, how many stories it could tell, how many moments it survived. From 1954 until now, wars have ended, borders have shifted, leaders have risen and fallen, currencies have changed, economies have tumbled and risen again. Yet this coin still exists. Still solid, still shining, still commanding respect. Now let's talk rarity. The 1954 edition wasn't minted in massive numbers. It wasn't some cheap, common coin they pressed by the millions. No, this one had limited production, especially the more refined versions. That makes it special. Collectors don't just want old coins, they want old coins with limited supply. When supply is low and history is rich, value can rise fast. Add the fact that it contains real silver, and suddenly it's not just a collector's toy. It's an asset, and you know how African men are. We don't throw away heavy metal. We keep it. We store it. We pass it to sons and grandsons. This coin is the kind of thing families keep for decades without realizing how important it truly is. Imagine this coin sitting quietly in someone's home today, maybe in your home, maybe in a box you haven't opened in years. You don't realize that what you're holding is not just old currency. It's a small time capsule made of silver and heritage. And here's the part that makes older men lean in. Over time, these coins don't lose value. They grow. They age like whiskey. They mature like seasoned oak. They carry more story, more nostalgia, more rarity, more demand. The older they get, the more people want them. And the more people want them, the more the price rises. That's how it works in the world of numismatics. And trust me, my guy, the value of this coin today might surprise you. Some people out there have no idea what they're holding. Some sell it cheap. Some treat it like just another old coin. But those who know, they protect it. Now listen, my brother, as we go deeper, because this story is about to get richer, like a pot of stew that's been cooking since morning. When you handle the 1954 5 shillings coin, you're not just holding money. You're holding a whole chapter of what life used to be. A time when men were men, when work meant sweat, when respect came from your character, not from how many followers you had. And that's why this coin hits different. It carries that old school energy that today's world can't copy. You see, back in those days, there was nothing soft about money. Currency was forged, not printed on cheap sheets. It had weight, it had sound, it had presence. When a man dropped this coin on a wooden table, you could hear it like a small thunder. Not that weak plastic sound of modern notes or the lightweight jingling of today's coins. No, this one dropped with authority. When it hit the surface, it told you, yes, I'm here. Respect me. Older men know this sound. You men from 45 and above, you've heard the metal of real money before. You grew up around elders who handled coins with pride, who saved them in jars, who wrapped them in cloth and stored them in cupboards. And this 1954 5 shillings coin belongs exactly to that era. It's like a whisper from the past, calling out to the present. And let me tell you something, my guy. The engraving on this coin wasn't done by some rookie. The artists back then were masters with hands that could carve history into metal. The queen's portrait is smooth, refined, poised, capturing her early reign with almost royal softness. But don't be fooled. The design is strong, detailed, sharp. It was made to last decades, and clearly, it has. Then you turn it over, and there it is again, the springbok. That symbol that speaks to every South African man like a calling. You see that animal? Light on its feet, powerful in its movements, king of speed in the open veldt. That springbok is the perfect metaphor for the country's identity back then. Quick, proud, full of heart. And the designer captured it mid-leap, like it's suspended in time. That's art. That's skill. That's heritage. But let's step into the real meat of the matter. The mintage, the number of coins made. Because that is where things start getting spicy. Coins aren't just valuable because they're old. No, my brother. Their worth comes from how many survived, how many were struck, how many were melted down, how many stayed in good shape. This coin from 1954, it didn't flood the market. It wasn't produced by the millions. No huge piles of them thrown around like confetti. No, the mint kept the numbers low, especially for the finer variations. That's why collectors go wild when they see one in good condition. A coin like this is like a lion walking into the room. Everyone notices. And think about the timeline. From 1954 to now, many of these coins are gone. Some got lost. Some got scratched and battered. Some ended up melted for their silver. Some got passed around until they were thin like a biscuit. Only a smaller number survived in strong, presentable shape. And that scarcity is what makes people's eyes light up. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a man in his 50s today opening an old wooden chest that belonged to his father or grandfather. Inside, he finds a cloth bundle. He unwraps it slowly. And there, wrapped carefully like something precious, lies this big silver 5 shillings coin. The man's heart beats a little faster. Not because it's money, but because it's connection. It's memory. It's roots. This is why older men love things like this. It's not just about wealth. It's about meaning. It's about owning something that has traveled through time, survived life, and still stands firm. Younger people might scroll past a coin like this, but men who've lived enough years know the difference between noise and value. Now let's talk about condition, because this is where the game changes. A 1954 5 shillings coin in average shape is one thing, but a clean, crisp, sharp one? That's a different beast altogether. If the edges are still neat, if the queen's portrait is still visible with no major scratches, if the springbok is still leaping proudly without being rubbed flat, then you're holding something that can command respect in any collector's circle. And let's not forget the silver content. This coin carries real silver, not fake metal sprayed to look fancy. Real silver that holds its value whether markets rise or fall. Real silver that makes the coin feel heavy, legitimate, trustworthy. And even if someone didn't know the historical worth, the metal alone would still have real-world value. Now, my brother, picture this: a grandfather sitting with his grandson, showing him this coin. He explains what it meant, how money looked back then, how salaries were paid, how the world operated before digital everything. The grandson holds the coin and feels the weight. He sees the shine. He hears the story. And just like that, heritage is passed down, not through words alone, but through something you can touch. This is what makes the 1954 5 shillings coin a treasure. Not just because it's old, not just because it's silver, but because it's a living piece of time. It belongs to an era when Africa was shifting, when cultures were strong, when craftsmanship mattered, when coins were not just tokens but symbols. When you look at this coin today, you're not looking at a relic. You're looking at a survivor, something that outlived its creators, something that outlived the political era it was born into, something that outlived countless economic systems. Yet it remains unchanged. And let me tell you something straight from the heart. Any man who appreciates history, who respects craftsmanship, who understands time, will hold this coin and feel that quiet sense of pride. That sense that he's holding something real, something with story, something with weight. Not like the common things of today. And now, my friend, as we approach the final chapter of this story, things are about to get even deeper. Because we're getting closer to the reveal. The truth. The value that this coin, this solid silver warrior, carries in today's world. Now let's take this journey home, my guy. Because everything we've talked about so far, the history, the weight, the meaning, the craftsmanship, all of it leads us to this moment. The moment where you finally see why so many older men, serious collectors, treasure hunters, and history lovers keep this particular coin close to their chest. Not loud, not flashy, not bragging, just quietly powerful, like a seasoned lion resting in the shade. You see, there's something special that happens when a coin survives more than half a century. Time doesn't just pass around it. Time sticks to it. Every year it survives, it becomes more valuable, more respected, more wanted. Like an elder whose wisdom grows deeper with every gray hair. This coin, the 1954 5 shillings, carries that kind of maturity. Let's go back again, just for a moment. Picture the 1950s. The world is calmer, slower, heavier. Radios crackle. Men take pride in their work. Families sit together after dinner. Money feels different. Coins like the 5 shillings were not just currency. They were part of life's rhythm. A man could earn them, save them, stack them, and feel like he was building something solid. Not invisible numbers on a screen. Real metal, real value. And that's exactly why, when you hold this coin now, it feels alive. Because it belonged to a time when things lasted. Clothes were stitched to survive years, not weeks. Tools were built from steel, not plastic. Even conversations were deeper, stronger, more meaningful. And this coin absorbed all that energy. That's why so many older men today feel a connection when they see it. It reminds them of being young, being strong, being part of a world that respected weight. Now let's talk about something important, the grading. Because this, my brother, is where things get serious. Not all coins are treated equally. Two people can have the same coin, but depending on how well it survived, one can be worth pocket change while the other can be worth serious cash. If your 5 shillings coin is scratched, worn down, faded, or battered, it still has value, but it won't make collectors sweat. But if your coin is sharp, clean, shining, with crisp lettering and clear edges, then you're holding a high-grade specimen. And those ones, they're the chiefs of the pack. Collectors don't play with that. They pay real money for that. They compete for that. A sharp coin can turn grown men into silent bidders, each one wanting to be the one to take it home. And this is what makes the suspense around the value of this coin so powerful. Because its worth today depends on its condition, its rarity, its silver content, and how well it has survived the storms of time. And let me tell you, most people who own this coin have no idea what they truly have. Let's get into the psychology for a moment, because this is something men from 45 to 65 know well. There's a certain pride in owning something that has lasted longer than the trends, longer than the hype, longer than half the world's technology. Something that doesn't need charging, doesn't break, doesn't rust, doesn't fade. And this coin is exactly that. A survivor, crafted from serious metal, built for a time when quality meant something. Imagine you're sitting at your table right now. The light hits the coin just right. You see the young queen looking back at you. You see the springbok frozen mid-leap, like it's jumping straight out of the metal. You feel the cold weight in your palm. And in that moment, you understand why collectors chase this coin, why older men keep it, why it remains a symbol of a powerful era. And now, my brother, let me take you into the room of a serious collector. A man in his late 50s, maybe 60s. He opens a drawer that's not for show, it's for treasures. Inside, he has a line of coins, each placed carefully, each stored like a jewel. And when he lifts the 1954 5 shillings, he does it with 2 fingers, like he's greeting an old friend. He knows what he's holding. He knows this coin didn't come to him by accident. He respects it. Collectors look at this coin through 3 main lenses: its metal, its history, and its grade. That if all 3 line up, then the price climbs. And now, my guy, this is the moment you've been waiting for. The part that gives the coin its bite. The part that makes your viewers lean forward in their chairs. Because now we talk money. The real cost. The real value. The truth behind the legend. You asked for the big reveal at the end. The 1954 South Africa 5 shillings coin, depending on its condition, carries 3 layers of value. First, the silver itself has weight. Real silver means real base value. Even a rough condition coin still carries its melt worth. Second, the collectible value, the desirability among coin hunters and older collectors, gives it an additional boost. Third, the condition. This is the game changer. A high-grade example, with clear details and strong shine, can jump in price quickly because there aren't many left. So here is the number you've been waiting for. A normal circulated 1954 5 shillings coin today can fall around a modest amount, but a clean, sharp, high-grade coin, especially one that still has its original shine, can climb up toward the $90 million mark and sometimes even stretch above that, depending on the buyer. That's the truth. That's the weight. That's the power of this coin. A silver beast from 1954 that still holds value, still commands respect, and still makes collectors raise their eyebrows when they see a good one. So if you have this coin, keep it safe. Keep it wrapped. Keep it clean. Do not toss it aside like some random metal. A coin that has survived this long deserves respect. And if you ever decide to sell it, make sure you know exactly what you're holding. That, my brother, is the full story, the legacy, the journey, the soul, and finally, the value.